Ambition.
What is it? Cambridge says it's a strong wish to achieve something. This is good, an essential shared human emotion, crucial in achieving our goals and deriving meaning within our lives. But what happens when we don't stop? When more is never enough? This is
Unchecked ambition.
when ambition grows too large and takes control of us that it becomes dangerous. But how does this drive humanity? And what are its possible implications onto the human condition? Throughout history, composers have depicted the extremes that unchecked ambition can be taken in pursuit of our desires, ultimately driving humanity into their demise. Audiences of today are still able to resonate with the ambitious desires of the past, indicative of the enduring nature of ambition and why composers still choose to echo and appropriate texts to reflect the theme. William Shakespeare's 1606 play Macbeth explores how ambition drives humanity in response to power and authority, warning against the tragic immoral consequences of unchecked ambition in a Jacobean theocentric world. F. Scott Fitzgerald's 1925 novel The Great Gatsby similarly warns against obsessive ambition within the context of the hedonistic jazz age, where the ideals of socioeconomic status and marital status influence ambitious desires. In a more contemporary exploration, Martin Scorsese's 2013 film The Wolf of Wall Street again maintains this criticism of excessive ambition within a capitalist society, where he explores the extent to which humanity can take ambition in response to financial and material gain, and the inevitable demise. As such, the notion of ambition and how it drives humanity remains a timeless concept unconfined to a particular conceptual milieu. In Macbeth, Shakespeare didactically promulgates the moral repercussions of excessive ambition, warning of duplicity and mental collapse while criticizing divine retribution in the Jacobean theocentric context. Amongst the backdrop of societal order within the context, structurally mirrored by the play's iambic pentameter, a prophecy from the three witches foreshadows that Macbeth shall be king. However, Macbeth ironically subverts this prophecy into a need for positive action. His slaughterous thoughts permeate his psyche, highlighting his ambition as he plans to murder King Duncan and whoever else stands in his path in order to fulfill his prophecy. Macbeth metaphorically has no spur to prick the sides of his intent, but only vaulting ambition, which overleaps itself and falls on the other. Shakespeare presents Macbeth's relinquishing moral judgment and ambition's ability to drive humanity to its darkest extremes, highlighting how the power for desire for power can consume individuals. As such, Macbeth initially acts as honorable and respectable, as everyone did bear him praises in his kingdom's great defense. However, as his false face must hide his false heart, this accentuates his true devilish desires. Hence Macbeth wishes, "Let not light see my black and deep desires, the eye wink and the hand," ultimately accentuating his dualistic nature within the juxtaposition of light and dark, emphasizing Macbeth's need to masquerade his immortality for fear of divine retribution, prevalent within the Jacobean context. Here, Shakespeare introduces how ambition can drive humanity to engage in duplicitous behavior, forsaking truth and morality in the pursuit of personal gain and power and authority. Throughout the play, Macbeth continues his duplicitous masquerade, balancing being a high-ranking nobleman with his new taste for murder, until he reaches his point of anagnorisis. Out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player, that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. Here, Shakespeare metaphorically conveys the futility and brevity of life. This highlights the despair and nihilism that follows Macbeth's excessive ambition, where Shakespeare didactically warns of such moral repercussions. Therefore, it's been made crystal clear that Macbeth's unchecked ambition in achieving power and authority through the crown drove him to act in duplicity to hide his immoral deeds, like committing murder. But to solidify this point further, let's have a look at another case study. Lady Macbeth's unchecked ambitious pursuit of power and authority drives her to take action through Macbeth by controlling him, her ultimate downfall serving as Shakespeare's warning of unchecked ambition. This is illustrated when she accuses Macbeth of cowardice and manipulates him into committing regicide as she pleads for the spirits that tend on mortal thoughts to unsex her and fill her with direst cruelty. Fueled by her desire for power and status, Lady Macbeth challenges Macbeth's masculinity and honor, portraying his reluctance to act as weakness. Hence, Shakespeare subverts the archetype of woman as submissive and subordinate to men, reflective of the Jacobean context, to portray a character that epitomizes moral corruption and didactically warn how ambitious desires drive our psyches into manipulation and immoral deeds. Lady Macbeth's reassurances following the success of Duncan's murder swell a false sense of security, as the enjambment of her assurances towards Macbeth, without all remedy, should be without regard. Disregard guilt as merely being an irrational endeavor. Here, Lady Macbeth's ambition drives her to manipulate Macbeth into thinking that her actions are justified and acceptable. However, notions of being able to forget past transgressions, such that a little water clears us of this deed, juxtaposed to the motif of blood that is introduced as, here's the smell of the blood still, all the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Oh, oh, oh. Here, the sensory imagery in hyperbole accentuates that guilt has stained her soul and she is unable to cleanse her memory of the wrongdoings she has suppressed. Her relentless ambition for dominance and control, once a source of strength, becomes her undoing, illustrating how unchecked ambition can drive humanity towards an inevitable demise. Overall, Macbeth's tragic death and Lady Macbeth's tragic suicide serve as Shakespeare's didactical promulgation of how unchecked ambition often drives humanity into duplicitous behavior, resulting in moral repercussions and, in dire situations, guilt so severe that one must end their life. Now, let's take a look at how a composer over a different context has interpreted and further reflected the timeless notion of unchecked ambition's inevitable drive of humanity towards immorality. In The Great Gatsby, Fitzgerald explores how individuals' unchecked ambition in pursuing the American dream drives humanity towards a loss of dignity and moral decay, ultimately criticizing the materialistic values and hollow pursuits of the Jazz Age. During the Jazz Age, the American dream was defined by the pursuit of wealth and material success as symbols of prosperity and status. Jay Gatsby, born to a poor farming family, reinvents himself as a wealthy, enigmatic man, hosting lavish parties in West Egg, New York, to achieve this ideal. In this, Fitzgerald presents Gatsby's opulent lifestyle as an embodiment of the American dream, where his relentless pursuit of wealth and success is symbolized by the green light in Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms farther. Similarly, in Macbeth, unchecked ambition led to Macbeth's pursuit of power at all costs, while Gatsby's ambition is directionless and focused on unattainable ideals of wealth and status. Both characters' relentless pursuits blind them to reality, driving them forward towards self-destruction and exposing the dangers of unrestrained ambition. Fitzgerald extends this notion through ash-grey men swarm up with leaden spades and stir up an impenetrable cloud that screens their obscure operations from your sight, where the metaphor of the cloud as a visual barrier signifies the lack of clear direction and stability individuals face while chasing prosperity. The imagery illustrates the indefatigable drive of ambition as they blindly toil for something fruitless, underscoring the all-consuming influence of wealth and societal disparities that emerge with avarice. Fitzgerald critiques post-World War I America's society by highlighting how ambition affects dignity and self-respect, showing that the relationship between ambition and dignity depends on whether ambition is guided by honor and ethics. Both Gatsby and Macbeth's ambition lead them to fruitless, morally compromising pursuits. Gatsby's drive for wealth causes societal disparities and loss of self-respect, while Macbeth's thirst for power results in a complete loss of honor. In both cases, ambition becomes a destructive force, severing the connection between dignity and ethical values. Gatsby's pursuit of Daisy and description of a voice full of money emphasizes that his obsession with married woman, Daisy Buchanan, acts as an allegory for the moral decay of American society as it shifts towards materialistic hedonism, ultimately criticizing the emphasis placed on an individual's wealth and appearance. However, through Gatsby's imperative tone in "I'm going to fix everything just the way it was before," Fitzgerald foreshadows his impending loss of dignity and the irony of his naive belief in reclaiming his idealized past relationship with Daisy. His ambition to do so, strictly driven by her socio-economic and marital status, reveals the root of Gatsby's desires, things that are unattainable. Gatsby's murder by George Wilson underscores the futility of his ambition, driven by wealth and status, leading to his downfall and the destruction of others, highlighting the moral decay of materialistic pursuits. Similarly, in Macbeth, unchecked ambition led to Macbeth's demise, as his ruthless pursuit of power destroys his sense of honor and leads to his inevitable downfall at the hands of Macduff. Overall, both The Great Gatsby and Macbeth explore the consequences of unchecked ambition, but in different realms. In Macbeth, ambition for power leads to violence and tyranny, ultimately resulting in moral ruin. Similarly, Gatsby's relentless pursuit of the American dream and his obsession with wealth and status drive him towards moral decay and personal loss. Fitzgerald, like Shakespeare, criticizes ambition's destructive nature, depicting how it blinds individuals to reality and leads them to chase unattainable desires, culminating in a tragic downfall. Now, let's see how this notion has manifested within a contemporary context. Has it survived the test of time? Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street explores the extent to which ambition can drive humanity in response to material and financial gain. Within a contemporary capitalist context, Scorsese explores the moral compromises and corruption of which unchecked ambition drives us to. Scorsese uncovers a true story based on Jordan Belfort, a money-hungry stockbroker that was introduced to the intense corruption of Wall Street during the 1990s, of which America was in the era known as the economic boom or dot-com boom, characterized by significant economic growth, technological advancement, and rising consumerism. Scorsese depicts the self-degrading and morally compromising consequences of ambition driven by material and financial desires within the airtime phone sales scene. Scorsese utilizes a wide-angle shot which zooms out to capture Jordan as the focal point when he makes his first sale and scams a buyer through his manipulation, whereby the other employees' shocked facial expressions are captured as they watch in awe. Scorsese cleverly uses this particular shot to communicate to audiences of Jordan's quick adaptability to such a corrupt business, and how his persuasion and scamming skills foreshadow the future of his frauds. By highlighting how Jordan's ambition to reach a high socioeconomic status has driven him to conduct scams, we are introduced to the extent to which Jordan's willing to take his pursuit, even at the exploitation of strangers. Just as Jordan's ambition drives him to exploit others for financial gain, Macbeth's relentless pursuit of the throne led him to betrayal and murder, demonstrating how ambition can push individuals to abandon their moral principles in the pursuit of personal success. Thus, as Jordan continues to gain large sums of money, Scorsese criticizes mankind's excessive desire for more in the sales pitch scene, where Jordan trains his employees to start targeting the 1% of wealthy Americans. The quick close-up shots changing between various characters encapsulates their unity in manipulating customers into buying their shares, underpinning the intensity of their greed and determination of their materialistic ideals. Here, Scorsese further underscores the compounding moral degradation that results from unchecked ambition, as Jordan and his team willingly engage in deceitful practices for personal gain. However, Jordan's money-oriented ideals eventually lead to his hamasha, where his relationships crumble with his friends and wife, and eventually gets arrested by the FBI. Similarly, in Macbeth, unchecked ambition led to Macbeth's downfall, as his pursuit for power destroys his relationships and humanity. Just as Jordan's ambition ends in his arrest and personal collapse, Lady Macbeth's relentless ambition results in her mental collapse, illustrating the destructive consequences of unbridled ambition. Both The Wolf of Wall Street and Macbeth explore the destructive power of unchecked ambition, but within different contexts. In Macbeth, ambition leads to a murderous pursuit of power, driving the protagonist to moral ruin and his eventual downfall. Similarly, Scorsese's depiction of Jordan Belfort shows how relentless ambition for wealth in a capitalist society results in moral degradation, fraud, and the collapse of personal relationships. Both texts highlight how unchecked ambition drives individuals into corruption and leads to their ultimate demise. In conclusion, ambition, when left unchecked, remains a timeless and universal force that drives individuals towards moral compromise and eventual downfall. From Shakespeare's Macbeth to Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby and Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street, ambition manifests differently over contexts, whether in pursuit of power, status, or wealth, but always as depicted, will lead to devastating consequences. These works underscore the dangers of unchecked ambition, illustrating how it blinds individuals to ethical considerations, ultimately resulting in their demise.